Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. This is Joe Nicasio, your business coach. And the question of the day is, are you making this huge mistake with your digital marketing? And a lot of people want to be digital marketers. Now, I come back from the day where we had analog marketing, we had face-to-face marketing. I think let's break this down, because there's two technologies that are really important to market. And the first set of technologies, hey, George, good to see you. George Warner, good guy from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Um, you know, so there's two technologies I think that are really critical. Number one is all the internet and digital technologies, the ability to create a website, the ability to create a landing page, the ability to do Facebook pixels, the ability to do SEO, search engine optimization. Okay, so there's that set of technologies, but there's another set of technologies that, hi, Jody, who's Jody? We have these digital and electronic satellite technologies where we can transmit a gigabyte of information around the world in a nanosecond, okay? So there's that kind of technology. But then there's another kind of technology, and that is human technology. We can transmit a gigabyte around the world in a nanosecond with computers and satellites and all that. But sometimes it takes days, weeks, months, or even years to get through 1 inch of human skull. And that's the other technology. And that's the one, so often I hear people say, oh, what's the big mistake people make in their marketing? Or if people could change one thing and make it different. It really doesn't have anything to do with the digital technology, but it really has to do with the human beings. So, if you get this wrong, you're going to spend money on lots of marketing and not necessarily get results. Your marketing may be very logical and it makes sense, and you might be using all the keywords and you have all the right things to say. But for some people just don't get it. That's the technology problem I think we're facing, is even though we got, supercomputers and amazing technology, we're using technology and our message isn't getting through and people are not getting it. But if you get this right, if you really learn how to connect at a human level, if you can send your message in a way that penetrates that 1 inch of human skull and really gets through to people, number one, you can get the maximum result for the minimum investment. Your ads, when you run them, they work because your message resonates. Number two is when you get this right, your messages are emotional. We speak into the listening of the buyer and they get it, and if you get this right, you're not just going to focus on what words do I say on my website or what words do I say on my landing page, but really make a shift into what do I need to give in order to get the business. And when you do this right, you're gonna connect more powerfully. It's almost like a Vulcan mind meld. And so the mistake people make has nothing to do with the electronic stuff, and it has everything to do with the human stuff. And so, so this is why, people talk about your avatar, your niche, an empathy map, an emotional hot button map. These are things, why do we put so much time into these things? Because these are, it's not just about having an avatar for avatar's sake, but truly understand what's going on underneath that 1 inch of human skull. John Caples, who wrote Tested Advertising Methods, which he was just an expert at testing and running scientific tests of what really, really worked in marketing. And he said 40% of the effectiveness of your marketing is your audience, choosing the right audience, putting your right message in front of the right people at the right time. One of the examples I use is you're not going to sell very many feminine hygiene products if you're advertising in Sports Illustrated because it's a market mismatch. So the first thing that John Capel said is so important to making your message stick is putting the right message in front of the right people, being in front of the right audience. That's number one. John Capel said the second thing was your offer? Like, what are you giving in order to receive the money? You know, it's like, what are you giving in exchange? The offer, what you're giving for the money, is more important. And then 20% of what John Capel said was the language, the copywriting. You know, what words do you say? 40% audience, 40% offer, and 20% language. And so sometimes I think we lean too much on thinking that what are the right words to say to get the sale, and I think that's the wrong focus. It's like, what do we need to give? What do we need to give? Who are we giving it to? And so if you get the audience, who are we giving it to, and the offer right, what are we giving in order to, then the words, we're 80% of the way there, and we're going to make the sale just so long as we don't mess it up. And this is why it's so important to get this human, how do we connect, how do we get our message through 1 inch of human skull? And so much of it has to do with really understanding the human beings that are in our audience and how do we get them to buy from us. So if we get this right, it flows very well. If we get this wrong, it's like putting a square peg in a round hole, and it's not going to work. This all fits in with the context of, the work I do is, choosing a business where you're doing what you love for yourself and others, sharing the love through your service and good marketing, and receiving the love in the form of gratitude, cash, repeat business, and all that. But the story I wanted to share was I was surfing social media the other day, and I saw a woman ask a question that was, how many of you are in digital marketing and you want to run your business without talking to people? And this is exactly the problem is we want, digital has to do with the electronics, marketing has to do with we're trying to make sales. But what's really missing out of this equation is the human beings that we're actually trying to do business with. The purpose of a business is to create a customer. And so if your agenda is to not talk to people, you can do it, but you know what? You're just not going to connect to humans unless it's not about the technology, but it's about, do you really understand and can you connect and get through 1 inch of human skull? So look, there's the digital part of our marketing and there's the human part of our marketing. There's digital technology and human technology. And a lot of people are focusing on the digital technologies. And one of the reasons they're struggling is because they're neglecting the human technologies. You can try doing this on your own, but if you want some help, if you have this problem, what's the problem? We can transmit a gigabyte of information around the globe in a nanosecond, but it takes days, weeks, months, or years to get through 1 inch of human skull. So if you're having that problem of getting through 1 inch of human skull, if you're putting your message out there and people don't get it, send me a private message. Let's start a dialogue. I would love to help you with this. I put over 25,000 hours learning about sales, marketing, what makes a business succeed. And this is a huge, huge part. And I would say it's by far one of the biggest reasons, your sales, your marketing is underperforming because you've got the electronic and the digital and the computer technology working, but that technology to get through 1 inch of human skull, just truly understanding human beings, understanding the psychology of what it takes for somebody to want to buy from you, and then having them do that and feel good about it so you can deliver the goodies. This is where a lot of people are failing. So, again, if you have this problem where you're not, if you get this wrong, there's a disconnect. If you get this right, it's almost like a Vulcan mind meld. If any of you are familiar with Star Trek, the Vulcan mind meld is where my brain and your brain connect. When your marketing does that, you could be even messing up. Again, John Capel said 40% offer, 40% audience, 20% languaging. None of that has to do with technology. One of my favorite Joe original sayings is low-tech effective is better than high-tech ineffective. And the most important tech that you need is the technology to be able to look somebody in the eyes, listen to them, have a conversation, and demonstrate I understand your problems better than you do, and I have the solutions for them, and that's why you're going to buy from me, because the cost of doing business with me is so small compared to the cost of not doing business with me and living with your problems. I have solutions to your problems. I can help you fix those problems, And hopefully my communication connects with you so that you understand that you can get help from me. And I want you to have that same high quality, not just the computer technology, but the human, not just the computer connection, but the human connection. Again, if you want help with this, if you've got this problem connecting, getting through to people where they truly understand, appreciate, desire, and buy from you, send me a private message. I would love to help. This is Joe Nicasio, your business coach. I love helping people. I love helping people grow their businesses. I love helping people start businesses from scratch. I'm a massive contribution to the people I serve, and I would love to help you too. And if you would like that help, reach out. Again, this is Joe Nicasio signing out. God bless you. Have an amazing evening.